Alright, everyone, here we go. This is a 14 Uldaman. Thanks for tuning in. I know I've not had my channel active in a while, but I'm still playing, and I'm definitely considering bringing it back in the expansion. But let's talk about some changes I've had in the last couple of months. This is Tyrannical, so here in the front there's not much to it, but I do want to target the strongest enemy, that is the Berserker. I have him in a darker red, that's my KUI nameplates helping me guide my targeting. And so I have dabbled in beta a little, and a lot of it seems to feel the same. I feel like a lot of our changes are actually passive. So when it comes to rotation and things like that, it kind of feels the same. We're also Afflicted, using a mouse over macro for those. We only have 2 dispels in here. I know it looks like 3, but we only have 2. So there's a lot of responsibility on me, and you'll see me using some dispel mouse over macros and life mouse over macros. But going into the expansion, catching Shadow-Word Deaths in execute range is kind of what it's all about. So more so than ever, being able to be proficient in targeting is going to be your biggest asset to your gameplay. I don't know too much about other specs, but when it comes to discipline, as it is right now and what it looks like going into the War Within, it's really all about targeting. And that's not just for our Shadow-Word Deaths, but that's also keeping our dot alive. So most pulls I'll open with all of my dots using penance to keep them alive and like spread it to the final 2 enemies. That's something you want to think about. Got both of those. That's something you want to think about with Shadow-Word Death and penance. So casting a dot mid-combat is kind of like a dead global. You really want your dots to assist you with HPS, but you want them to stay active with your penance. So I'm always making sure my target has a dot before I penance. And if nothing else, like as a Hail Mary, if my target doesn't have a penance and I'm running out of time, I'll just switch my target anyway and hope there's a dot active on my new target. But since targeting is so important, one of my biggest changes since my last video is I have all of that combat floating text off. I really don't feel like it assists you in making decisions, and I find it quite to be quite like cluttering to the screen. So the green from the healing, the yellow from the damaging, just none of it matters. Waiting. Boom. I just don't really feel like it matters. It definitely doesn't help me with targeting the right mobs. It doesn't do anything to help me, make on-the-fly decisions with which spell to press. So I've just turned those off. I'm really trying to free up, that portion of my screen so that I have the best advantage possible to see my nameplates, to see my health, to see where my dots are. That's really all that matters, and that's what I think is most important from nameplates. Okay, so on this guy, we do have enough time to run a Mindbender in the front. We just really have to pump and favor CDR. So that was all 6 torments. And I want all my dots out before the totem so that I can guarantee my penance will spread a dot to the totem. Let's see if that works. It's hard to tell. Guess that wasn't my best round. I'm losing some CDR. And also something with pre-patch, they changed how our Mindbender counts its time. It's much harder to get all of your torments, but I'm always aiming for 6, 7, and 8 is a bonus. And in between each Quaking Totem, you can get 1 extra Mind Blast. So I try and pump that, getting as much value as I can. That is going to be something really important going into the expansion, keeping Mind Blast rolling. Okay, so this Mindbender is paired with Vampiric Embrace. I'm at 4 torments. Let's see how many I get. So I got 6 just barely, and let's see when I squeeze in my Mind Blast. Here it is. paired with a harsh discipline for my penance just to get a little bit more squeeze out. Dotting all of the adds so that my penance will spread a dot to the totem naturally. Paints up myself because I'm out of personals. Double execute for the win. And being that the Mindbender doesn't count his time quite the same as it used to, I'm noticing I'm dropping Star a lot of the times just because a Torment is going to be more healing and damage than a Star would be. I'm not really sure how I feel about that going into the expansion. I think things might play a little differently with more haste or something. I'm not too sure. But if there's like Lust and PI, you can fit a Star, no problem. But if it's just a regular Mindbender pull, I'm noticing Star means I'm sacrificing a Torment. And I think just always favoring Torments is the way to go. So I want to dot and go straight into a first Mindbender. This fight is kind of just all about pumping Mindbender. Also, you'll see in party, I see where those ricocheting shields go. That's a weak R for targeted casts. It is an opportunity to shield, paints up. It's only at 14, so it's really not going to kill people. Also, when it comes to my rotation, talking about not being able to get all of my torments as consistently as I used to, I've slightly changed my rotation, and this is something I probably should have done even before pre-patch. But I Mind Bender, Mind Blast, Death, then Penance. I think it is more important. Shielded that one on the Ret Paladin. I think it's more important to get Death rolling before you prioritize your channeled Penance. We definitely want to get that rolling. And we shielded him and he feigned deaths. So it's not a good play for a hunter to pass that to someone else because I did just waste a proc. But in a play of 3 like this, the main thing you want to focus on when it comes to your dots is keeping them active without having to cast a dot. So always switching targets with your penance, focusing on switching targets for executes. It's all about targeting. And I just got both afflicted. So I don't want to run a Mind Bender, but I can run a Mind Blast. Getting as much as I can with a boosted execute. And something I'm trying to do more and more, just to try and like maximize, is in between combat I'm casting Radiance. The buff you get lasts for 30 seconds, and the reset of Radiance is only 20. So in downtime like this, it's not a bad idea to go ahead and fish for your proc, let your mana regen, let the Radiance reset. That gap looked like a little too long. My Harsh Discipline's running out. I'll cast it again. Oh, now I'm going to double. In a pack of 4, I'll dot 2 and let my penance do the rest. So Mind Bender, Mind Blast, Death, then Penance. And putting Death first in the rotation is more consistently letting me hit my 6 torments. Definitely think that's the way to go. And in a play like that, if you rewatch it, it might have looked a little greedy, but I totally had my eyes on the Afflicted. But while my Mindbender was out, I really needed to prioritize getting my CDR, my double CDR. So I waited until my rotation was over, and then I dispelled. So I only realized halfway through, our tank does not have Dispel. I don't think that's a good idea to have 2 in a group. But I think right here, I'm going to keep taking this mark off me. Why are people putting a mark on me? I don't want to run a Mind Bender. I won't get enough CDR before boss. But you can always run a Mind Blast. Those will reset pretty quickly naturally. And getting your Mind Blast uptime higher is really going to be a game changer in the War Within. Okay, so I want everyone atoned, and I want to delay my Mindbender just a little bit. Actually, I could have delayed it a little bit more, it looks like. But this is really all about pumping Mindbender. The way it goes right now with double CDR, we can kind of like always have him out. And that is going to be what you want to do here. That's going to be your most output possible, having the Mindbender always out. You do kind of want to delay your Mindbender with like some discretion. You do want it to line up with these stomps. It doesn't need to be cast necessarily after, but as long as it's actively rolling, like after. Missed a Torment there. Yeah, so I missed a Torment. There was no point in sending my procced Penance into the boss. I gave it straight into the Ret Paladin there, which is really what you got to do on this boss, especially Tyrannical. That is going to be your best single target heal. And I had to re-atone there. But it's how you re-atone, I think, is very dependent on the situation. Sometimes if only 2 people need heals, I'll flash heal and get that binding heal on 2 of us. Or Radiance if necessary. Maybe just a renew if necessary. You don't always need to atone the whole group. Mindbender's ready. I have a proc. And we're in execute range. Yeah, I think I was waiting there just slightly. I noticed I had Mindbender, but he was at like 24%. A slight delay is going to get more output because we're getting double executes. Barrier for this one. Also Rapture. So I'm not really rapturing too much in this dungeon because it's only a 14. I'm leaning into my Mindbender. It's definitely more output. I'm not too sure how I feel about Rapture. The Rapture changes. Part of me feels like... Let's see what happens here. Let me just get my Mindbender out. I'm going to have to get both here. I think my atonements got it. I don't know what happened. But the Rapture change, you know, the way it used to go, you could get almost 8 to 10 Rapture casts within a single window, depending on your haste. And I think it... Okay, I'm going to find the healthiest guy and just get a Mind Blast out. I think it probably makes more sense that Rapture is better suited just to give a coat on the party once over, rather than getting 2 coats on the party. So its utility is a little bit different, and you'll probably use it in different ways. I could definitely see it mitigating out heavy dots, because you could stagger in each global for your Rapture. Yeah, like stagger it in between each tick of the dot. I think that makes sense. I don't know what's with this 3rd pull. So I want to get dots out. Here's Mindbender. See, I'm not using Star just yet. Switching targets to the healthiest guy to not lose CDR. 7 torments, 0 stars. Okay, then this pull. We do have some deaths, and it's mainly because of the affix, I think. But we want to definitely be on the Runic Protector. He's the most healthy, most threatening. We have to get him down. He's Darkest Red with my KUI. Shield Wall. Mindbender plus Vampiric Embrace. Pumping as much as I can into this big guy. His dot is falling off now though. Yep, so I switched targets to keep the dots alive without having to press dot. Uh-oh. So I almost... Yeah. I was about to send a defensive penance into myself. But I was getting a little greedy with my Shadow Word Deaths. I think his damage plus my recoil into myself. Not the best play. Okay. Get refortituded. Fortitude after this. These are definitely Fear Bomb opportunities. I have it loaded in with that red bar and the trumpet sound, but I missed that one. Would have liked to have gotten it. Fort. I keep taking the star off of me. If you're using marks on your allies to track their position, I don't think that's the best method. I think you need to be using party nameplates, at least as a Discipline Priest and a healer. You need to be able to keep an eye on your party for radiance, their positioning, and party nameplates is really the only way to do that. Yeah, radiance, people have heard me talk about it before, but it's a short-range heal. You have to hit the person most centralized in your group cluster, or you'll miss people. Yeah, and the more people you miss, the less maximized it is. Uh-oh, I forgot about that. Okay. So he ate shit. Took a res. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, with 3 people down in a group, it's just a reset. You shouldn't take a res like that. But this guy's not playing Dispel. He's on a foreign server and lagging. He's not making the best choices. Oh yeah, my game's been bugging out. I have to reload UI here. But the way you want to play this boss is the first round of dots that go out. I really do my best to precast Mass Dispel. You want to remove that dot as quickly as possible. So I will, you might notice right behind my action bar HUD in the center of the screen, there's a new bar that I've added that kind of like is half hidden behind the action buttons, but it's the cast bar of my target in a fixed location. So it's really been a nice assist in helping me precast heals. Precasting heals is a really good skill to start developing as a healer. It's going to be your quickest way to recover health. For example, precasting Radiance. That's what I'm finding is a good play often, since it's a long cast. Okay, so Mindbender's out. Mass Dispel is ready. Dispelled it without any damage. Oh, Warrior just about ate shit. Guess that was all 6 torments, but I had no one atoned. And he is about to run away. I don't want to Mind Bender, but I can Mind Blast. There it goes. And I'm waiting for the damage before I Penance and Death. Single Dispel myself. He's about to run away. Really all you want to do before he goes in the ball, put a fresh dot on him. And then here what I like doing, this is a perfect place for Vampiric Embrace because of the damage profile. I Mindbender on the guy that's furthest away to make sure I get really good value. I don't want to lose my Schism on a mob that dies. So I dot them all and go to the next one. Full Schism. 6 torments. Against those guys. Right here, I think I just hold for a second. And then now we don't have Mass Dispel on this next one. The way I play it is with Barrier. But I'll let the dots go out. And after a couple seconds, then I'll Barrier. That way it covers the dots and it covers the bombs. I'll Dispel myself for comfort. Here's our Barrier. I'm trying to make sure I'm really backloaded in it. Yeah, that way it covers 2 attacks. And this is where our Ret Paladin went, not AFK, but he DCs. So it's really shitty for him to DC, because he is our only other Dispeller, so it's all on me. I have some like off-standard keybinds and macros for some traditional mouse over macros for like life, flash heal, dispel. So I'm trying to get my heals out first before I worry about that. I think as long as you're on it, delaying your dispel is pro? I don't know. Do I send Mindbender? Yes. Not a bad place to use Fade either. I do have the 10% DR loaded, but not too stressed. Let's see, I have to get both of these. Dispel one, life, and heal the other one. Yeah, the Hunter. And in that one, I split apart my 2 Shadow Word Deaths to make sure at least one yielded the heals when I needed it.
System shut down.
So he does come back.
Whoa! Look at all of this stuff! The heroes, you can keep searching for whatever it is you.
I was looking into Oracle versus the other one, Void Weaver. I think Void Weaver is definitely going to be the play for Mythic Plus. But the Oracle one seems like hella fun with the double grips and shit. Like that's like right up my alley. Okay, so on the Golem, he's the Darkest Red with KUI nameplates. I precast a Radiance on that damage and just ate it. There's my Mindbender, aiming for 6. You really have to fiend for penances here. And if you notice, I switched my target last second just to keep my dots alive. In a group like this, you really shouldn't have your dots fall off. And here's just a Mind Blast on its own, just getting a little bit of extra damage and healing to polish this guy off. Got full value. Yeah, I think that was one of my biggest areas of improvement since my last videos, is having higher uptime on Mind Blast. Generally, I think the way it goes in a trash pull, you're only going to get 1 Mind Bender, but you can definitely get 2 Mind Blasts. So, take it or leave it. There's a Rapture. There goes Mindbender. Let's check for 6 Torments. PI, not a problem. Get these executes here. Double execute. 7 Torments. And that was a really quick shield on myself since he's bolstered. Or whatever. When it comes to our shields, they were buffed, I believe. And I think that was a really good change. We needed a little bit better of shield payoff. And a really great play is kind of working it into your mind that a single shield on yourself is a really good way to be extra defensive. So yeah, I shielded myself back there is what happened. What am I talking about? Okay, and I definitely want to be on the Guardian here. He is very healthy compared to the others. I delayed my Mindbender to wait for him to stack up. I missed my 7 Torments, but that's okay. I don't think I play another Mindbender. Let's see. Nah, just a Mind Blast. So things are about to change, but you'll notice my Mindbender's in the center of my screen. It's the most important thing when it comes to our rotation and our, healing. So he's in the biggest icon, center of the screen, so it's really easy for me to keep an eye on its cooldown. So whenever he is on cooldown, the first order of business is getting him back. So that's smites and penance. I drop things like death, drop things like star. Focus on CDR. And I'm just eating these. It's not fortified. And I have my Mindbender out. Recast a Radiance on that hit. Switch targets to keep my penance alive. Yeah, it's all about switching targets. I think catching executes is the harder thing to do. Double execute there. But if your target ever doesn't have a dot and you have a penance you're about to cast, at least switch your target with tab. And about half the time, you'll get lucky. Okay, so I want to open with all my dots. I'm going to focus the Golem because the Guardian's not going to be in the group. I shield wall just because I'm not playing around. I have PI. Quick fear for the win on that one, I think, on that Curse of Stone. I had executes there, but I missed them. Okay, got 6 torments. So I've been holding PI. I could have sent on Hunter, but I think it was just a little bit late. I noticed I was PIing the Ret Paladin a lot. I don't think he was the best play. It's honestly not a great group. I think a lot of this ends up being a struggle. But I pull this 4th guy since I'm ranged. Lead with a Radiance for the proc, I believe. Yup. And I'm on the healthiest mob, which is the Darkest Red with KUI. Mindbender, Mind Blast, Death, then channel the penance. And this is something I have talked about in the past, but we had so much haste, it got to the point where it didn't matter anymore. But I do chop a lot of my penance at the global. Not the first one, which is procced on a schism, but the second one after a schism. I am sacrificing a bolt just to get a little bit more time, and I find it's helping me increase, my average torments from 5 to 6. And I think that's worth it. So I do start here for the heavy AoE. Yeah, I used a Dark Star. So let's see if I drop the Torment now. Yep, cut that one short. I get 5 Torments. Now I don't have enough time for the 6th. So I'm not sure how that's going to play in the War Within. Quick Mind Blast just to get some extra output. I've even toyed with just dropping Star/Halo altogether. I definitely think if your decision is, do I get on average 5 torments instead of 6? I just think that the torments are going to be more valuable. Definitely more healing, definitely more damage. Keeps your Mindbender out longer, etc. Just, yeah. I think torments are priority. Okay, last boss. I do have Phantasm here. In Single Dispel, I have Mass Dispel. I believe on this first one I play Mass Dispel. Yeah. Here goes my Mindbender. I delayed it until after the hit. Phantasm will always clear your dot, and then you can use a Single Dispel to clear someone else's dot. And then our Paladins have freedom. So the dot mechanic here is pretty cush. There's that. Now the warrior got hit by something. Really bad timing because we had to buff it. Had to heal that Afflicted. Okay, so these phases, Vampiric Embrace is the way to go with your Mindbender. Pairs really well with mitigating that damage. Freezer's did something. And I delay my Radiance there. Make sure it lasts. Nope. Hard to see, but what I did there was I shield walled very last second, plus a shield on myself. And I lived, barely. There's PI. Mindbender out, preceding the buff it just a little to make sure everyone is topped before the hit. Fade it off. Dispel. And we got 5 torments with all those extra casts. Had to heal that guy, I think. Okay, 15 seconds on Mindbender, not great. We need heals now. Okay, that was very helpful. One of the paladins healed me and allowed me to keep doing my group-wide damage. Fade and Dispel. Redot. Shielded the tank on that hit. Looked like it got really good use. Not good. Not good. I had to dispel myself. He's actually getting a little out of hand here. Yeah. Things are out of hand. We're having deaths. I have no Mindbender. And the only dispel. We do have executes, which I can go ahead and have a little. Shield myself, wall, and barrier. Okay, second last dispel here. Yeah. Okay, we're in execute range. Let me make sure I have atonements out. Death, death, then channel the penance. My atonements healed that guy. Oh yeah. Just got PI back. And boom, 1 point of IO. So in a key like this, I had to bank a lot of talent points just to like manage the mechanics, like Phantasm for the dot, Mass Dispel for the bosses. So it made me a little bit weaker defensively. I would have rather have like improved shield wall or the thing that reduces the recoil of death. But you really just have to bank talents elsewhere here. And then here's just a spread of my damage output. I think it's not fully accurate because I did have to do a reload UI mid-dungeon. But I'm right at 100. I think it would have been over 100 if it weren't for that reload. But I'm kind of excited for the expansion. I wasn't sure if I was going to play it, but I think I am. And I also think I might even revamp my channel. I think the biggest deterrent for me with my channel is how much time I would put into each video. So I really want to try and find a new approach where I'm putting out maybe more videos that take less time. And I don't want to sacrifice quality, but I actually think putting less time into a video, at least with my idea in mind, could make a better video. So keep an eye out in the War Within. Please let me know what you guys think about the expansion, what you think about Discipline. And I think that kind of highlighted a lot of my most recent changes in WoW that you guys have not seen. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and until next time, Disc.